Pro boxing fans, we are here in Birmingham. Birmingham or Birmingham? How do you say it?
Birmingham.
All right, so you say it correctly, you say it right.
That's right.
Because obviously Eddie's had, people say Eddie doesn't say it right?
Because he's a bit posh.
Because he misses out the G. So he calls it Birmingham, which is what they call it in Essex.
And I call it Birmingham.
But you call it the right way, right? Let's talk about this one. Faiz and Edwards. There's been a bit of a back and forth this week between Charlie and Cal, but between the two main guys, there's a lot of respect there. They've had a lot of history. It's just leading up to be a good fight with two elite fighters, right?
Unbelievable fight. And look, the history of the sport, right? And their relationship. These guys have been together in GB squad for years and years and years. They've sparred many rounds. They know how good each other are. So there's not that hate there. Sonny said it yesterday, but not every fight needs that spite. You'll see tomorrow night the audience we got in there, the crowd. The build-up for this fight itself. This is a fight people want to see. These are the kind of fights we need to make. The brothers have had a little bit, like you say, but it's not unusual. We've been there before. There's history between those brothers as well, especially between Cal and Charlie. But we're just in for a great fight, and we're buzzing for it because, like I say, these are the fights we need to see.
Do you want to sort of move away from this card to just quickly talk about boxing before I do let you go? I think just quickly talking about boxing in general. Chris Eubank Jr. There's rumours about him fighting Edwards Landy Lara. What do you know? Because obviously there's negotiations there between you guys and Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. What's the latest with that?
Yeah, look, I met Ben a few times. I met Ben earlier in the week. Spoken to him on the phone a few times. Look, the fight's there, the Eubank fight's there, the Conor Benn Eubank fight's there, but everyone needs to be sensible. And I don't think right now it's looking too likely the way things are going. Conor's got a lot more options than Chris Eubank Jr. Conor is 26 years old. He is undoubtedly probably the third biggest name in British boxing now, behind Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, and he's going to be in the sport for a long, long time. He doesn't need the Chris Eubank fight right now. In terms of Chris has got probably a year left and wants the biggest fights, the most amount of money. But everyone has to be sensible with the deal. So Conor's actually in a much better position. The Barrios fight's a massive fight, and look, if Conor can go and become a world champion, that's huge. And look, if they do the Lara fight and Chris gets an opportunity to become a world champion, that's what I'm sure he's always looked for, to become a world champion. But yeah, I don't know. I've had conversations. It's an easy fight. There's never been a clearer fight that is a 50-50. And people could even argue, like I say, Conor's a bigger name now with everything that's gone on, whether for the right reasons or not. We've been speaking about him every single day for the last 2 years. There hasn't been a day where Conor Benn's name hasn't been mentioned by any media, not just to us, but in every interview and in every publication. Talk Sport every day. He's been everywhere. So I think, like I say again, Conor's in a great position. And if, look, I personally would love to see the Eubank fight.
In regards to, if they both, say one of them loses, does that affect the fight?
Sometimes it affects the fight, and is it then harder to make? Is the perception that I'm a bigger? Do you know what I mean? Changes things there. Again, I go back to the point of, if you're asking me, myself as an individual, I'd love to see that fight. I've spent so much time on it over the last 2 years, but there's so many options for Conor Benn, and we represent Conor Benn and going to do the best for Conor Benn in his career.
Talking about Anthony Joshua, from what Eddie's saying, Daniel Dubois, Tyson Fury is going to be the next fight for him. My question was, are we leaving AJ resting for too long? We know he's been active for a long time and he's fought good level of opposition again and again, but is this till May a long, long time to be leaving him on the sidelines?
Not really. He's been so active when you look at the amount of fights he's had. He's been so active, and I think actually a little rest will do him good. And he wasn't ready to go into camp to be ready for February. He'll be going back into camp early part of next year, and then he'll be fully focused. This is the most important fight of his career, when you think about it, because this is really the time where if he gets the wins, happy days. If he doesn't, it's a near. Well, he can come back because he's still up there amongst the biggest names in the sport. But I think he knows he needs to go in there and be 100%, and that's our job to make sure that we help deliver that for him.
Do you want to talk about Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk? Tony Bellew saying, listen, for this fight, Fury can't let Usyk bully him. Do you see a different outcome in this fight? How do you see this rematch going in a couple of weeks' time?
Not to sit on the fence, but I've always said these guys, the best of the best, can beat each other on their night. You know, and if Tyson Fury was ahead on the scorecards after 6 or 7 rounds back in Saudi back in May, you know, there's no reason he can't beat Alexander Usyk. But Alexander Usyk is one of the best we've seen in recent times. You know, pound for pound. Undoubtedly pound for pound. I think pound for pound number one in the sport. What he's done at cruiserweight, what he's done at heavyweight, you know, as an amateur as well, the career he's had. Like, so you've got to say Usyk's favourite, but Tyson Fury, yes, can beat him. You know, that's the reality of it.
Final one, Jake Paul. Do you respect the fighter and the promotion, or do you respect just the promotion? What do you respect around Jake Paul? Because there's a lot of talk from Carl Froch and everyone else about Jake Paul this week or the last week or two. What do you take from Jake Paul?
I respect what he's done from a business perspective, what him and Nikisa have done with that. You know, I even said to Nikisa, look, we've had our differences, but fair play, amazing event. That is entertainment. It's not professional boxing, right? I respect that Jake Paul has given his all to the sport in terms of training. He's made it his life. But he's delusional in terms of where he thinks he can get to. You know, so like, if he was just, again, it goes back to the point, if he was just fighting in 4-6 rounders, building himself up, you know, and got somewhere, you couldn't argue with him, could you? But he's creating this illusion that fighting a 56-year-old Mike Tyson is peak of boxing. And my problem with it is, we're talking about professional boxing, right? Which the aim is to knock someone out, or win on points, obviously, but you want to win anyway. You can't go in a professional fight, I held him up, which is what he essentially said, didn't he? He said, I held back on him because I didn't want to hurt him. And I respect that in a sense of, I understand, do you get what I mean? But also at the same time, it's not professional boxing. Because what professional boxer would you talk to on this card who goes, yeah, I held him up because you know, he's older, isn't he? No one would say that. So I have a lot of respect for what he's done as a business. I have a lot of respect for what they've created. But you have to separate the two. It's entertainment. It's not high-level professional boxing. And that's the reality of it.
Final one, I'm not sure if you know. Neo. What's your favourite Neo song, by the way?
Who?
Neo. Remember Neo back in the day, man? Come on.
Give me a Neo. I do remember him, but I can't remember his songs. You don't even remember his songs.
I don't even know, but you know, he's become a boxing manager today.
Has he?
He signed a fighter called Paul Bamba, so you might be seeing Neo.
Yeah, I'll give Neo a call. I know him quite well. I'll give him a bell.
You don't even know his songs, man. How do you not know his songs?
You don't know his songs.
Go on Spotify.
Let me get you a Neo song.
Give me a Neo song. Oh, no, don't copyright it. No, I'll show you the list. Show me the list. Oh, yeah.
Said I'm so sick of love songs, so tired. Okay. Yeah, that one.
There we go. Frank Smith, thank you very much, mate. Top man.